Chapter 5 Manvatras, Varnashram and Vratas. This chapter contains 4 sections. Chapter 5 Section 1 Manvatras. Each Manvantara era is ruled over by a Manu. The first Manu was Swayambhuva. Shatkaratu held the title of Indra during this Manvantara. The second Manu was Swarochisha. Vipaschita held the title of Indra during this Manvantara. Third Manu was Uttama and Sushanti was Indra then. The fourth Manu was Tapasa and Shikhi held the title of Indra then. The fifth Manu was Raivata and Vithata was Indra then. The title of Indra was held by Manojava during the sixth Manvantara, the Manu being Chakhusha. Next came Shraddhadeva, the seventh Manu Purandara being the Indra. The eighth Manu's name is Savarni and the eighth Indra is Vali. The eighth Manvantara has not yet come. The ninth Manu will be Daksha Savarni and the ninth Indra will be Adbhuta. During the 10th Manvantara, the Manu will be Brahma Savarni and the title of Indra will be held by Shanti. During the rule of the 11th Manu Dharma Savarni, the Indra will be Gana. The 12th Manu will be Rudra Savarni and the 12th Indra will be Ritadhama. Rocha will be the 13th Manu and Divspati will be the 13th Indra. The 14th Manu will be Bhautya and the title of Indra will then be held by Shuchi. During each of Brahma's days, there are 14 such Manvantaras. After that comes Brahma's night, when all these living beings are destroyed. Chapter 5 Section 2 Varnashram Dharma. All the Manas practiced the precepts of Dharma, righteousness. This meant non-violence, truthfulness, piety, going on pilgrimages, donating alms, serving Devas and Brahmanas, tolerance of all religions and the following of the sacred texts. It also meant the practice of the system of the 4 classes, Varna, and the 4 stages in life, Ashram. The 4 Varnas are Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Performing sacrifices, donating alms and studying the Vedas are duties that Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas must perform. In addition, the Kshatriyas must protect the good and punish the evil. The Vaishyas must take care of trade, agriculture and animal husbandry. The duties of Shudras are to serve the Brahmanas and artisanship. When Brahmanas take up the Upavita, the sacred thread that is the mark of the first 3 classes, it is like a second birth for them. So Brahmanas are known as Dvijas, born twice. An Anulam marriage is a marriage where the husband is from a higher class than the wife. The offspring of such a marriage belong to the mother's class. A Pratiloma marriage is a marriage where the wife is from a higher class than the husband. Chandalas were born this way from Brahma women, Sutash from Kshatriya women, Devlas from Vaishya women, Pakashas from Kshatriya women and Magadas from Vaishya women. Chandalas are executioners, Sutash charioteers, Devlas guards, Pakashas hunters and Magadas bards. Chandalas should live outside the villages and should not touch those belonging to any other class. The best name for a Brahma is that which ends in Sharma. Similarly, the best name for a Kshatriya ends in Varma, for a Vaishya in Gupta and for a Shudra in Dasa. The sacred thread ceremony is to be held at the age of 8 years for Brahmanas, 11 years for Kshatriyas and 12 years for Vaishyas. No sacred thread ceremony should be held beyond 16 years of age. The first stage in life is that of Brahmacharya, studenthood. A student should never eat honey or meat and should never indulge in singing or dancing. He should completely give up violence and speaking to women. His duties are to discuss the Shastras, holy texts, and associate with learned men. Apart from that, he will meditate in solitude on the true nature of the Brahman. The next stage of life is that of Garhasthya, household stage. A Brahman may have 4 wives, a Kshatriya 3, a Vaishya 2 and a Shudra only 1. The husband and the wife should be from the same Varna. Marriage across Varna is to be avoided. A woman can marry again provided that her husband has disappeared, is dead, has become a hermit or is such a sinner that he is expelled from his own Varna. If her husband dies, a widow is permitted to marry her late husband's younger brother. A householder should get up at dawn and pray to the gods. He should always bathe in the morning. He should not talk impolitely. He should not bite his nails. He should not laugh at those who are inferior. And he should never reside in a place where there is no king, no doctor or no river. He must not insult his elders. He should never criticize the Vedas, the Shastras, the Devas, the sages and the king. And he must never travel without a light at night. The third ashram is Vanaprastha, forest dwelling stage. Such a person should always sleep on the ground and wear skins as clothes. He should wear his hair matted and give up the company of other people. He has to serve gods and guests and live on fruit and roots. In the final stage of life, sannyasa, a person becomes a hermit. In this ashram, a person attains true knowledge and is completely freed. But he should become a hermit only when he is convinced that he has completely lost all interest in material pursuits. Such a person is not affected by birth or death. He realizes that the physical body is transient, that it is of no concern at all. It is the knowledge of the Atman, soul, that is the best form of knowledge. When one gains this knowledge, one realizes the identification of the Atman with the Brahman. One understands that the Brahman is everywhere. Chapter 5 Section 3 Sins and their Atonement. If one commits a sin, one has to atone for it. This is known as prayashchitta. If one does not atone for the sins that one has committed, it is the king's duty to punish the sinner. If one drinks from a well where the dead body of an animal has been floating, one has to fast for 3 days. The worst possible sins are the killing of Brahman, the drinking of wine and theft. Other sins are criticizing the Vedas, the bearing of false witness, killing a friend, killing a cow, forsaking one's parents or sons, the selling of pawns, murder, lying, killing animals and the cutting down of green trees for fodder. A killer of a Brahman has to build a hut in the forest and live there for 12 years. He has to beg for a living and give up all that he possesses to another Brahman. A killer of cows has to live on just coarse grain for a month. He has to live with cattle and follow them around during the day. All his possessions have to be given up to a Brahman and he has to bathe in cow's urine for 2 months. If a Brahman steals gold, he should go and report his crime to the king. The king will then hit him with a club and this will be the Brahman's prayashchitta. The sin of killing Kshatriya is 1/4 the sin of killing a Brahman. If one kills a Vaishya, the sin is 1/8 the sin of killing a Brahman. And if one kills a Shudra, the sin is 1/16 of the sin of killing a Brahman. Killing a cat, a mongoose, a frog, a dog, a lizard or a crow is as sinful as killing a Shudra. Chapter 5 Section 4 Varnas. Depending on the tithi, lunar day, the day of the week, the nakshatras, stars, the month, the season and the position of the sun, certain specific religious rites and ceremonies have to be performed. These are known as vratas. The first day of the lunar fortnight is known as Pratipada. The day of Pratipada in the months of Kartika, Ashwina and Chaitra are Brahma's Tithis. It is then that the worship of Brahma must be done. On the second day of the lunar fortnight, Dvitiya, one should eat only flowers and pray to the two Ashwini. This makes the supplicant handsome and lucky. Shukla Paksha is that lunar fortnight in which the moon waxes, and Shukla Paksha Dvitiya in the month of Kartika is earmarked for the worship of Yama. If one performs this vrat, one does not have to go to Naraka, hell. This is also the day for praying to Balrama and Krishna. It was on the third day of the lunar fortnight, Tritiya, in Shukla Paksha and in the month of Chaitra, that Shiva married Parvati or Gauri. Rites performed on this day are thus known as Gauri Vrata. Shiva and Parvati have to be given offerings of fruit. The 8 names of Parvati have to be recited. These are Lalita, Vijaya, Bhadra Bhavani, Kumud, Shiva, Vasudevi, and Gauri. Chaturthi Vrat is performed on the 4th day of the lunar fortnight, is Shukla Paksha and in the month of Magha. This is the day for worshipping the common gods, Gana Devta. The offerings on this occasion are to be wine and fragrant perfumes. On the 5th day of the lunar fortnight, one performs Panchami Vrat. This grants good health and takes care of bad omens. Particularly auspicious for Panchami Vrat are the Shukla Pakshas in the months of Shravana, Bhadra, Ashwina, and Kartika. On the 6th day of the lunar fortnight one performs Shashti Vrat. One has to live only on fruit, and if one performs this vrat, the fruits of any action that one performs live forever. Shashti Vrat should be observed especially in the months of Kartika and Bhadra. Surya is to be worshipped on the 7th, Saptami, day of the lunar fortnight. If Saptami Vrat is observed in Shukla Paksha, all sorrow disappears. Sins are stoned for and all one's desires are attained. Women who have no children can have sons if they observe these rites. The 8th day of the lunar fortnight, Ashtami, is very significant. Krishna was born on this Tithi in the month of Bhadra when the nakshatra Rohini was in the sky. Ashtami is therefore auspicious in the month of Bhadra. If one fasts on that day and prays to Krishna, the sins of one's earlier 7 lives are atoned for. But this vrat is to be observed in Krishna Paksha and not in Shukla Paksha, since Krishna was born in Krishna Paksha. Together with Krishna, Rohini and the moon, Devaki, Vasudeva, Yashoda, Nanda and Balrama are also to be worshipped on the occasion. Since Krishna took birth, Janma, on this Ashtami Tithi, this particular day is known as Janmashtami. The 8th day of the lunar fortnight can be important even if it is not the month of Bhadra. For example, the 8th day of the lunar fortnight might be a Wednesday, Buddhavar, in both Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha. Irrespective of the month, such an Ashtami is important and is known as Buddhashtami. On that day one has to live only on molasses and rice and perform the vrat. There used to be a Brahmana named Dhira whose wife was named Rambha. Dhira's son was Kaushika, his daughter was Vijaya, and Dhira's bull was named Dhanda. Kaushika would go with the other cowherds to graze the bull. Once when Kaushika was having a bath in the river Bhagirathi and the bull was grazing, some thieves came and stole the bull. Kaushika and his sister Vijaya looked everywhere for it, but could not find it. In searching for the bull, they came to a lake where some women were bathing in the course of performing a vrat. Brother and sister were tired and hungry and they craved for some food. The women agreed to give them food, but only after Kaushika and Vijaya had also performed the Buddhashtami vrat. And as soon as Kaushika performed the ritual, the bull was miraculously returned to him. Such were the powers of the Vrat that Kaushika could get his sister Vijaya married off to Yama and himself became the king of Ayodhya. After their parents Dhira and Rambha had died, Vijaya discovered that her father and mother were in Naraka. When she asked Yama as to how her parents might be delivered from Naraka, Yama told her that Kaushika and Vijaya should perform Budhashtami Vrat again. And immediately after they did so, the parents attained Swarg. The 9th day of the lunar fortnight is Navami, and Navami in Shukla Paksha, especially in the month of Ashvina, is earmarked for the worship of Gauri. An animal has to be sacrificed and offered to the goddess on this occasion. The Brahmanas become all-powerful if they observe Dashmi Vrata on the 10th day of the lunar fortnight and donate 10 cows. The 11th day of the lunar fortnight, Ekadashi, is for fasting. It is also the tithi for praying to Vishnu. The observance of Ekadashi Vrat grants sons and wealth and atones for one's sins. The 12th day of the lunar fortnight is Dwadashayi. Any Dwadashayi in Shukla Paksha is auspicious for worshipping Vishnu. Dwadashi in the month of Bhadra is for praying to cows and calves, and in the month of Chaitra it is for praying to the god of love, Madna. If one observes Dwadashayi for an entire year, one never has to go to Naraka. An especially good conjunction is Dwadashayi in Shukla Paksha in the month of Bhadra when the nakshatra Shravana is in the sky. If one fasts and observes a vrat, then one earns greater punya than from bathing in the confluence of sacred rivers. If Buddha, Mercury, is also in the sky, the punya is multiplied several-fold. Trayodashi Vrat is on the 13th day of the lunar fortnight, and this ritual was first performed by the god of love when he wanted to please Shiva. This is the tithi on which Shiva is worshipped. In the month of Ashvina, Indra is also revered on this tithi. And in the month of Chaitra, the god of love is worshipped in Shukla Paksha on the same tithi. The 14th day of the lunar fortnight, Chaturdashi, is also earmarked for Shiva, particularly in the month of Kartika. One fasts and donates to Brahmanas and thereby attains Swarg. The Chaturdashi in Krishna Paksha that comes between the months of Magha and Phalguna is known as Shivratri. Then one has to fast and stay awake the whole night. Earlier, there used to be an evil hunter named Sundarasena. But because he performed a vrat on Shivratri, all his sins were forgiven.